up, guys? So I uploaded this onto a Disney Ears Facebook page and had a lot of people asking how I did the lights. My bottle of pixie dust right here came off and I glued it down with some E6000, so this is just holding it down while it dries. But I made these light up ears, and there is even a light inside of my little pixie dust bottle. There's some wires going in through the back of that. Let me turn them on here so you can see that. They're green. It's really bright in this camera because I don't know exactly how to focus it to make it work. But I have it going all around the ring of the ears, and then there's one light in the pixie dust bottle. So I am going to show how I make these light up ears and the technique that I use to do the lights inside, and then this cute little pouch that I put on the back of my ear. So we are going to do a set of Harry Potter ears, but mostly I'm just showing how to do the lights in this video. For this pair we're going to use coasters. I have these delightful cardboard coasters. They're 4-inch coasters and they're really nice because I don't have to go and cut out the shape out of cardboard. I just have to get a headband, figure out the curve of the headband, trace it, and then I have a template one of these where I just trace onto all of my coasters and cut out this little notch so that they fit very nicely onto the ears and they're all uniform. So I have some pre-cut ones that I'm going to be working with today. Okay, so I have a couple different kinds of lights that I've used. I have a pair of ears, made these ones, they light up as well. And for these ones I used this brand right here. It's called Bloom. It's not going to focus, and I don't know how to make it focus, so we're just going to keep it down here. I might zoom in on it in editing. These are the brand Bloom, and this string of lights, let me open it up here. I got these at Joann in their flower section, and they have 12 little LEDs on them. They're very bright. But they have 12 little LEDs on this string of lights, and they work pretty well for my ears. As you can see, they're kind of dotted around the edge. And then I had one, if you can see back here, it didn't quite make it across without any lights. So I do have one underneath my trim. I've kind of just hidden it behind my bow, as you can see from the front. The Bloom have 12 lights. I later found some really inexpensive ones, I'll link them in the description, on Amazon. And I believe they have 20. Yeah, they do. They have 20. On my Tinkerbell ears, there's many more lights around the edge. And I also found a couple techniques to help the light just be continuous around it. But there are a lot more lights than in this pair. This pair had fewer going around the edge. And so I definitely prefer the ones I got off Amazon to the Bloom ones. So I'm not going to be using the Bloom ones today. We're going to set those aside. And the ones from Amazon come in a little package like this. And this is the set I'm going to be using. I got plenty of colors when I ordered them. This is just a neutral white. This is the set we're going to be using today. So I'm going to show you how to get them glued onto your ears so that you can have them show up behind the fabric. I don't know how well you can see this, but these lights on the wires are kind of bent at an angle. So it's just going to be tricky to see. The ones that I got from Joann's are not bent at an angle. They're more straight, but this is going to affect what we're doing. Okay, so I've zoomed in here so you can see. I'm going to unwrap these lights. So if you look at this light, it's kind of creating a little corner that goes up and then back down. And I'm so sorry, it's out of focus. There we go. You can see it against that ear. It's kind of like an angle like that. The Bloom lights are not like that. They're just straight along the wire. So it was pretty easy to work with those. The ones from Amazon are a little bit trickier because they do have that corner kind of shape to them that you can't undo. If you pull on it, you're still gonna have that bump. And if you pull on this and move it back and forth too much, up and down, it will actually break the wire, and that'll break your circuit and your lights won't work. So we kind of need to play to this shape and keep them in that configuration as much as possible. So now I'm going to show you how to glue these on. We're going to start from the battery end of the lights. We are going to start on the far left side of the left ear. And we're going, like I said, we're going to keep this shape that it came with just to help protect the wires and not get any breakage. And we are going to put a dot of hot glue on the edge of our ear and glue it down. I'm using Gorilla Glue all temperature glue, and it is the best that I've found. It really holds up and works very well when I'm making these no-sew ears. So we're going to hold that down for a second and let it cool into place. Once that's cooled, we're going to make a little loop. So if you can see, I've kind of just catered to this corner right here and utilize that. And now I'm going to create a loop with this wire. And the reason I do that is because when I get to this other light, I need it to be facing out. So I'm going to create this loop and pull it around so I can stay true to this little angle and then glue it along the edge. So you'll see that I have this loop of wire, that way I'm not putting any strain on this wire and the wire won't break. So then I'll just put another dollop of hot glue and glue right there. I'm actually going to pause for a moment, guys, and I am going to measure out. I forgot to. I'm putting 10 lights on each ear, so I need to go around and measure an equal distance around the edge of my ears. Okay, we're back. I've measured around and I've made it so that I will be able to place 9 along the edge of here, and I am trying to brainstorm a way to use 2 lights on my bow or on my bow embellishment, so that's kind of in the works right now. So I'm leaving an extra 2, 9 on each ear, and then 2 for the center. So I'm going to go ahead and follow my marks and continue gluing these down, and I'll just speed up this process because I'm just going to glue it down, make a loop, glue down the next one, so I will speed through this so you don't have to listen to me talk. Alright, this process does take quite a bit of time, so I am actually going to go ahead and stop filming to save some of my memory card space and then come back as soon as I have this finished. Alright, I'm sorry for the incessant ticking noise if there was one. I got rid of the clock that was sitting right next to the camera. And I'm also had my camera just crap out on me and it didn't record the last bit that I did. So I've gotten all the way through and I wrapped them around. I actually filmed the very last one so I could show you what needed to happen, but that did not record. So I'm just going to tell you now. On the very last light, you're not necessarily going to want it to face the same direction as all of these ones. You're going to want your last light to have the wire sticking straight out of the corner. So however you need to configure it to make that wire stick straight out, we want to create as small of a hole as possible in our final result. And so we're going to have this coming straight out the corner so we don't have to have a huge hole in the side of our ear to let the wires out. And then the very last thing we're going to do on this side, we're going to take this battery pack and get it going out the same place as this so we don't have 2 holes in our ear. We just have one place where all the wires are coming out. So I'm just going to kind of wrap this around, making sure to not kink the wires and get it to the point where I want it. You don't want this too long, because if you've got the wire too long sticking out, then you've got to figure out what to do with that wire on the back of your ear. So I am going to create a sort of loop in here where this is all going to be protected, and then I'm going to glue it down so that this wire is coming out in the same place as that wire was. Okay, and the next thing we need to do is protect these wires on the inside. Like I said earlier, we don't want these to get bent at a harsh angle, because if that happens too often, they will break and that will make your ears not light up anymore. So I'm going to take this piece of packaging that I had laying around, and I'm going to glue it on top of all of these loose wires so that they're not exposed when I'm stuffing my ear, and so they don't get bent or broken. Okay, so I glued this down over the center so those things won't move, they won't get broken. This is what it looks like right now. All of those lights. So all of those lights light up around the edge. But I have, before we move on to the other ear, I have one more trick with these to make it so that it's lit all the way around the edge and not just in dots so harshly. So if you can, you probably can't see it very well, but the hot glue dries a little bit cloudy, and that helps to diffuse the light from these and make it a little bit wider than, say, just this one pinpoint of light on the string of lights. So I actually found that if I take hot glue and I make a thick tube of hot glue around all of the lights, it diffuses the light around the whole edge of the ear. So that's what I'm gonna do next. So I'm just gonna continue around the edge of the ear, and I'll come back when I'm done with that. Okay, so I've gotten that all the way around the edge. As you can see, I've basically just got a tube of hot glue all the way around the edge. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn these on so you can see what it looks like. So now, instead of looking like little pinpoints of light, it looks like it's a tube of light going all the way around the edge. And I really like that look more than just the little pinpricks of light around the edge. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do my other ear. Like I said, I am going to use 2 of these lights in the center of my bow. So I'm leaving these ones out and starting with this one, and that leaves me 9 more on the other ear to space out the same as I did with this one. So I will be back when I finish that. So as you can see, I have both of these finished. They've got glue on them, and they both light up in a nice little ring around the ears, with 2 little ones left over to put in my bow.